We're so excited to have you part of the leadership training. This is just the basic 101s of what it takes to be a leader in our program. Now, after you watch this, you should have a pretty basic understanding of the program and what it all involves, and make sure that you feel like this is a good fit. So, this is the 101s, the basics of this leadership training. So, we are going to go ahead and get started on this. So, people for people, leadership training. This is where we build our communities. This is where we make things happen. All of our leaders are the examples to our community, and they're the ones who are the foundation that keep us strong. So, all of our leadership comes from our existing membership pool. So, whether you're a business deluxe member, community member, you can become a leader in this program. Now, as you begin training in this program, we don't just throw you in, we actually give you training. You'll have 1 month to learn the role, watch, experience, make sure that you feel comfortable in what you're doing. And then after you've finished your leadership and training, you'll be eligible for payments once your training has been completed. Now, after your completed training, you can step into that leadership position. Now, to advance to such roles as super mentor, lead mentor, community manager, or executive leader, you must first serve as a community leader first for at least 1 month, because you've got to understand the program a little bit more detail before you run it. So let's talk about the payments. Most people want to know, how are we going to get paid? So every membership, $25, goes back directly to those who are leading and serving in that community. So $25 goes into the leadership pool. Okay. And then payouts come from that every month. Now you're going to have a certain amount of profit points that are assigned to you. Now that is according to the time that you've put in, your responsibility, and the level of leadership. So we'll go over all of that in a minute. But as a leader in the program, you also had to be eligible to receive income. You must qualify for payment. One of the things that all of our leaders we ask to do is to complete the 1+4 program. Now, the reason why we ask you to do that is because we are the ones who will set an example. And this is how we grow communities. We have to be the people that reach out in love and support and want to try to lift others. So, as a leader, we ask you to invite 4 people, community members, whatever, have them come on for free or whatever that you have, and then only one paying business or one paying membership. Now, you can choose to have that paying membership be yourself if you want, or another person who's participating in the program. Now, to receive compensation, you must have an active membership under you for your account. So if you don't have an active membership, you're not going to get paid. So something has to be under you to be able to get paid. Now, if you do not complete this program and you're almost there and you're still doing that, you can still serve in the community, but it will be voluntary and it will be unpaid. So you can still do that, but to get paid, those are some of the requirements that exist. Now, these are to start a community. For a community to start, we have to have 100 memberships. So before we expand or add another community, they have to have 100 base that goes on. So this is the very base in a community, what we have once it's started and established in that community. These are the payouts that come from the roles. So you can see a connections leader who only meets twice a month gets less than these guys who actually meet 3 times a month. And then you have some of these roles that are directors, which oversee people, so they get more, the managers, all the way up to the people who start the community. And then we have something here called our SM Refers. So our super mentors help start communities, but they also get a referral for training to help start other communities, even ones they don't oversee. And then we have the executive team who helps you run it, and some of the profit points go to them too. So all of our leadership, everything that's done to run a community is done through this. Now, this is an example. Some people may not be serving, may not be getting paid. So there's some variations. This is just an estimate to show you some of the basics. Now, in addition to that, we're going to talk about some of things that happen. I think I just want to make sure that we don't get, yes, sorry. This is where it's at when it's at 1,000. So if you're at 1,000 memberships in the community, this is the type of income you could receive. And this is where all of our memberships and all of our communities have goals of reaching. This is where it needs to be stable before it can divide or anything like that. This is where we're going to be expanding to. So these are the numbers. You can look and see how much better it is. If you're in a very fresh startup community, you're probably getting a membership covered. It shouldn't take long to get to this level where you can see couple hours twice a month, 500 bucks, 250 bucks an hour, not bad wages for the service you're getting in your community. So great things that happen here. Another thing about our program that I want to just take 1 second and talk about is vesting. In our communities, all of these things, after 5 years, you can become vested. So whatever role you've gotten to, you can reach up to 25% of that role that you get to take with you forever after 5 years of service. So pretty awesome thing that we have in the program right now where you can be vested so those who learn can actually help increase their retirement program. You can learn more about that in the handbook and more of those things to learn. We're not going to go through everything. So of our 5 departments, you have 5 departments you can choose to serve in. They meet 40 weeks a year and it follows this schedule. So our connection departments, twice the cycle. Okay, so 20 times a year. Development, educator, and impact all make 3 times the cycle, and they meet 15 minutes before their meeting and a 30-minute meeting. So 45 minutes, 3 times, 30 times a year. Our events department, they have 2 meetings. So again, 20 times a year plus 4 events that are held. So those are the different types of time. And if you're looking, how much time do I commit? How much, that's kind of what you're looking at depending on the role. Now, each department has its own handbook. So you're going to be able to learn all the details. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of it. You'll be able to learn about the role and the responsibilities. You'll also need to study that role during your training because you will actually be able to look at the handbook. It's an open book, so you should be just fine. But you have to take a little quiz. We want to make sure you know what you're doing before you run a department or run a meeting. And you have to have a passing score of 80%. That's it. It's pretty simple. And once you're assigned to a leadership role, we ask and we expect you to attend 75% of the meetings, which is not bad. 25% you can miss, but you need to notify your leadership in advance if you have something going on. Now, I'm going to briefly run through all of the departments to give you a brief overview of what they are and the roles in each department. To learn more about it, you do need to go into your handbooks, look at those things, but this will help you kind of get an idea of where you might want to serve. Now, the connections, like we said, meet twice during the cycle, so 20 times a year. That one meeting's an hour long and the other meeting you prepare for. The director oversees the departments. They lead the prep meetings. They also ensure all of the people are aligned and that they fill in if needed. They actually help run this department. The presentation leader assigns the presenters for this meeting, also announces the meeting and leads the meeting. Our exclusive leader puts a list together of our exclusive businesses. So if you're more of a person who likes lists and stuff, this is a great role for you. And also make sure that those businesses get those recognitions. Our marketing leader, if you're a person who likes marketing, they put out the flyers, they do the stuff for the meetings, they also give out the prizes, all the fun, pretty stuff. That's kind of what our marketing leader does. The next roles we have are development. Now, this is mainly built for our businesses. So if you really want to get in connection with the connections meeting before is for businesses and community members. Everyone goes to those. This is mainly put for our businesses. People can join, but it is mainly meant for our businesses. The director, again, oversees and runs the pre-meetings before that, 15 minutes before, and makes sure everybody's there and in place and fills in as needed. Now, this department is the only one that has 2 in each role because there's so much we're doing to support these businesses. Our networking leader, they run a networking meeting. And again, let me just say this before we get too much further. All of these meetings are virtual and online, so it makes it super convenient, except for our events. So those are the ones you'll need to go to in person if you're not part of a focal community. Then we have, so the networking meeting, we pull up pages, we like, we follow, we introduce everybody. It's awesome. Our workshops, they give a brief golden nugget, not a whole YouTube talk about it. And then we lead a discussion. We have breakout rooms and do awesome things. And then we do reviews for everybody to really boost up what they're doing. Then we have our podcast. You can lead a podcast. You can run an interview and have co-hosts, and you get to talk and be that leader of a podcast. So all of these things you may say, I don't know if I have experience in that, but I sure would like to do it. Great. We are here to help you learn. This is a great way as a community that we can support you in developing your skills and making sure things are better. So those are all the different ways that you can serve in development. In our educator department, now this is for the people who want to expand, those people who want to grow the program. Our educators are the one who are doing 4+1 plus, because they're wanting to grow and expand and receive income from what they're doing. So in this department, again, director, this you'll get to be familiar on this. Directors oversee, run the pre-meetings, make sure they fill in as needed. Then we have the relationships meeting. During that meeting, and all of these, when I go through these 3 meetings, other than the director and all these you saw, these are once a week meetings. So the relationships will have a meeting, then the business will have a meeting, and then the shares will have a meeting, and then we'll go through the same cycle. So if you're the relationships person or the networking person or any of those first people, you'll run a meeting 10 times a year. Okay. The businesses run a meeting 10 times a year, the shares 10 times a year. But we ask that you come to all of the meetings that are in that department, even though you run to help with support or fill in as needed. The business person, the relationships helps build how do we refer community members? How do we support them? How do we grow them? We learn that in the educator department. How do we support our businesses? How do we grow them? How do we refer? How do we expand our businesses? That's what happens in that meeting. Then our shares meeting, we talk about all the different ways that you can learn how to grow and expand with income with people for people. So if you're wanting to learn about this stuff or teach this stuff or have all of that or want to be with people who are like this is a great department to be in. Then we have our impact department. This is one of my favorites. And the reason why is because this is where all the community, the heart of our soul of who we are, go and land. So this is made for our community members. We have a director, like you saw before, that helps oversee, does the pre-meetings, and also helps with their three cycles of meetings. The first meeting is our personal. So as a community member, we want to develop with your individual and personal development. So we'll have people come speak to us on that. We'll help grow and expand and do some of those things. Then we have our preparedness. This is a huge meeting. We encourage everybody sometime to jump into this meeting. You can get preparedness badges so that if catastrophes happen in our community, we can learn how to grow and support each other, but even not catastrophes. Maybe we want to be prepared with how to be financially prepared for our future or how to be more emotionally prepared when health crises come. Ways that we can be prepared for any crisis that could come. Then we have our global, which is our service. This is where we do service projects, where we serve our community, where we learn and grow, and we can serve locally, nationally, whatever. We do little projects to really make an impact and difference in our world. And then we have our events. These are the live ones. This where we have the director. They oversee twice per cycle, so 20 times a year, you're preparing for this event. So every quarter, you're preparing for your one big event. We have the logistics leader who sets up the logistics, the location, the setup of the organization, the promotions leader who helps promote the event and increase visibility and participation. And then we always have an activity for our community members to help them support their businesses. Now, when you think of an event, I want you guys to not think of like I'm renting a convention hall and 3 people are running this. That's not what I'm talking about. Our community events are very basics. Like our Share the Love, we use some of our offices of our businesses. Our Education Week, we go visit our businesses. And those are our events. We do a service project where we all go to the food bank or we'll do something like, so when we do these events, you don't have to think I'm running a big convention, or I'm doing, these are things we work together. We work with our community and it's awesome. You guys will love it. Then we have our community managers and directors. Now, I already spoke about the directors, but they kind of link up here. So I want to show you how the organizational structure works here. So the community managers actually oversee all those directors that I just talked about. The community manager Actually, in the beginning, we'll start to attend one of each one of these meetings during the cycle until they see that these communities are well and up and running, and then they do it every quarter. But we want to make sure that they want to make sure everything's going right and that things are happening correctly. They also report back to our super mentor and our lead mentor, and they also help to make sure all of the departments are filled and our numbers are looking good. The directors are to report to the community managers. The directors also have one additional meeting at our connections meeting where we all come together 10 times a year. The directors come before during the pre-meeting and they report during the alignment and say, hey, this is what's going on. And we get to announce in the connections meeting everything that's going on in all of our departments. So if you can see, this all meshes very nicely together. And again, you'll learn more of this as you come. I'm just trying to give you a high-level overview. Then the last two roles we have in our communities are our lead mentors and our super mentors. Again, these roles you have to been here in leader in training, actually been a part of the community, and then advance to these roles. These are the ones who start out and oversee new communities, and they report directly to the executive officers. They can manage up to 40 communities and then also train other communities to start. So this is where people, if they want to use this as replacing income, doing all of those things, this is where you come. So as you work your way up, if you love what you do here, you can start and grow and expand communities. Our lead mentors, same type of things, great opportunities to manage up to 10 communities, and they can advance to super mentor status also. The last piece of the puzzle we have is our executive leadership. Now, our executive leaders, we have officers who oversee all of the directors of our departments and all the super mentors. So those people report to the executive officers. And there's usually, that's kind of the highest where you're going to go to be able to make sure if there's any problems in the community, things that are happening. Our executive directors are the people that are over each department. So we'll have a director over development. We'll have directors over our educator. So if there's questions that are going on in your communities on that, you'll go to those directors. They have meetings once a cycle. You can ask questions, help grow. We make sure it's very organized and nothing is lost. Then last but not least, we have our executive leaders. They are the ones who actually help the directors, help those departments, and check in with the communities every 6 months. So that's our executive team that helps make sure all of our communities and everything is running efficiently. There are other ways. If you're like, I think I may want to be a leader, maybe I don't. I don't know, but there are other ways to win. One of those ways is you can become an educator. Join the educator department. You receive at least $49.95 for every referral you do. We teach you how to grow and expand our communities. Please watch the educator video if you want to learn more about that. You can also serve in the add-on department where you can get paid for service, running podcasts, being an influencer. Lots of ways to grow. So watch the educator video so you can learn all about those opportunities there. But thank you for being those people who are leading this movement. We need you to lead and grow and be the great people we are. And you're setting the tone to change our communities and change the world together as people for people.